So people always talk about resetting your dopamine system, resetting your sleep cycle, resetting this, resetting that. But no one ever mentions about resetting your stomach. Your stomach, the organ inside your body. It's probably the size of your fist, so if you make a fist and just plop it over kind of right under where your solar plexus, bam, it's pretty much your stomach. Now your stomach, the size of the fist, it's not that big, right? It's pretty small. Actually, it doesn't even look like your fist. It's actually just a sleeve, and that's why that procedure is called the gastric bypass sleeve or whatever. So that procedure is essentially just making your stomach, part of your intestines, smaller, to decrease the surface area, to decrease the amount of calories you'll end up absorbing, right? And that's why when people go through the procedure, they end up losing a lot of weight. So it's pretty much, the same concept. But see, your stomach is a muscle. It stretches. It can stretch to any size, right? And that's why sometimes it's so dangerous for people to overeat or overdrink. But anyways, so your stomach stretches. It's not one size all the time. If you eat a lot of food, it's going to stretch it out. When it stretches it out, there's probably some sort of mechanical receptor that senses the stretch and then tells your body that perhaps you're full, perhaps you've gotten enough to eat. And that's why you'll hear some dietitians, nutritionists, bodybuilders, they'll tell you that they eat certain foods just to keep them full. So like a lot of fiber, a lot of fruit that has high amounts of water in it. So all these are all methods to dieting, are all methods to fat loss, weight loss, whatever you want to call it. Now, in order to reset your stomach, you have to stop eating. That's all you have to do. So think of it this way. You've been eating for all your life, every day, 3 times a day, maybe 4 times a day with snacks in between, right? So you're constantly always just filling up your stomach. You're constantly always just stretching out that muscle. Now, when you stretch out that muscle, over time, it's going to get bigger. It's rest size. It's a rest mode size. It's going to get bigger, right? So that's why people are always hungry all the time. Like my technicians in the pharmacy, they always talk about how hungry they are. We just got to work. It's like 10, 11. Like, you're already hungry? You know what I mean? So I get it. The typical eating schedule is 3 times a day: morning, breakfast, lunch, and then dinner, right? So I get it. That's the typical Western diet. That's the typical diet that everybody follows nowadays. So you're constantly just having food in your stomach all the damn time, and that food is constantly just stretching out your stomach all the damn time. And so, when you don't have any food inside your stomach, you're gonna feel hungry because literally, your stomach can sense when it's empty, right? There's that ghrelin hormone, the fullness effect, so your body can sense either a hormonal signal or a mechanical signal. You going to work out at the gym, destroying your muscle tissue so that it could grow, that's a mechanical force that you're applying to your muscles. Hormonally, if you're injecting steroids, testosterone and whatnot, you're going to make your muscles grow bigger beyond their ceiling limits, beyond their genetic limits. And that's a hormonal response. So there's always 2 sides to everything, but when it comes to resetting your stomach, that's literally all you want to do is just stop eating. Fast for 24 hours. I recommend fasting for 72 hours because I feel like that's how you get your whole body reset. Not only will you shrink your stomach back down to its normal birth-given size, but you also are allowing all your cells to eat itself through the process of autophagy. Now, a Japanese scientist recently discovered this. I think it was discovered in like 2018 or 2019, but the whole autophagy is where if you stop inputting calories into your body's going to end up eating itself, recycling itself. I like to use the term recycle itself because eat itself just sounds to kind of, morbid. But so your body has a way to recycle itself, and when it recycles itself, you're literally resetting your whole entire body. I can't describe it any more than that. It is the literal reset of your body when you just don't eat for 24 hours, 48 hours, or 72 hours. Now, I've been 72 hours without food, and I can tell you, on the third day, you can literally feel the reset. You can literally feel it. You know, you just have so much energy. You feel lighter on your feet. You feel more clarity. You know, it just feels like you're being put into a new vessel all over again. You know, so there's a lot of research and studies that go into it that you can search up on your own, a simple Google search or whatever. But honestly, that's what I did to begin my journey, my process that I started on April 16th. Because I got into like a beef with my wife about smoking marijuana and shit. And so I figured like, well, you know what? I'm just going to starve myself for the next 68 hours or whatever. And so I did. And ever since that, like, every smaller portions of meal has just been keeping me full automatically. You know, it's been keeping me full automatically. So I highly suggest that you look into this, you know, fasting thing and see if it's worked for you. Now, I'm just a pharmacist. I'm not your provider. I'm not your doctor. I'm not your family medicine person. So really do check in with your provider. Do consult with your doctor first before beginning any type of diet. I'm just your pharmacist. I can only advise you on the best supplements, the best dieting, the best whatever. You know, my advice, my consultants, it's all about how you can optimize those. But if you really want to get started, please check in with your doctor, your licensed physician. Check in with them first, especially if you have certain eating disorders or if you have certain health conditions that, you know, requires electrolyte balances or whatever, like heart conditions. So please check in with your provider, with your licensed doctor, and I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.